White men fight back, white men fight back. Here's what I don't understand. I'm looking at this rally where they're honoring Charles Kirk.
White men fight back! White men fight back! White men fight back!
I'm trying to understand that. White men fight back against what? Black people didn't have anything to do with this. White men fight back. First of all, what happened to him was horrible, but what does white men fight back mean? I think it was a white man that did this whole thing. So what are you saying, white men fight back? Time to blame black people for what? This shit happened in Utah. There were no black people around. I've been to Utah. Not a lot of black people there, so I don't know where they're getting this chant from. White men fight back. What are you fighting back against yourself? All of a sudden, black people are being blamed for what? Now HBCUs have to close their campuses because of threats. Of what? Threats of what? Why are you f***ing with black people? What did black people have anything to do with this Utah shit? All of a sudden you conjure up black people. It's always black people are in danger. HBCU campuses are closing because they didn't do a motherfucking thing. That makes no sense to me. We're in danger now because we didn't do nothing. We're always in danger. It's always black people. Black people this, black people that. We're minding our business. And there are actually black people that are mourning Charles Kirk. They're like, this is horrible, this is sad. They feel bad for his family, that he has 2 kids and a wife, and they had to see that. But all of a sudden, it's white men fight back.
Oh, no.
Oh, Charlie Kirk got murdered by one of his own. Let me say it again so it can sink in. Charlie Kirk was assassinated by one of his own. Let me break it down. Not black, not brown, not Muslim, not Arab, not Palestinian, not Latino, not immigrant, not LGBTQIA, not Democrat. So who is he? Meet Tyler Robinson. I mean, names don't come more American and more white than that. A white, American, cisgendered male, Christian from a pro-Trump loving Republican family. I mean, MAGA must be in chaos because how are they going to spin this? This is not a lefty that did this, but a righty. Let me just reiterate for those at the back. Tyler Robinson killing Charlie Kirk was absolutely and totally wrong. Evil. How dare you kill him and take his life because you don't like him and hate his views? What the hell? So for those of you who are incapable of understanding that multiple truths coexist, I am not you. Because you see, I can condemn the manner in which Charlie Kirk was killed and still find that Charlie Kirk was a repugnantly racist, white supremacist, white nationalist, anti-Muslim, Islamophobic, homo, transphobic, Zionist bigot.
Hell no.
You don't like what I just said? You find it offensive? You see that cue? Go join it. I say this with my full chest. I am glad that the killer of Charlie Kirk is not black, brown, Muslim, Arab, Palestinian, trans, immigrant, Latino, or any of the demographics that Charlie Kirk spent his entire existence targeting for his self-serving political interests. Because you know that if there be any of those demographics, the entire apparatus of hate, power, and influence from the right would have been tsunamied against all of these demographics, regardless of innocence or guilt. So now I'm going to sit back and watch the right-wingers and far-right eat their feces and faces after spending the last few days threatening and declaring war on the left and everybody else. Because you know what? It seems to me, Mr. Musk, that it is not the left that is a party of murder, but the right. And since you right-wingers won't leave yourselves in peace, by all means, go fight and die by yourselves. Yet is a war, all right, on the right. Oh yes, Mr. Fox News, all you right-wingers are accountable since it's a righty that killed Charlie Kirk. Okay, squabble up. Go fight yourself since the talking is over. The caucasity of comparing Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King Jr.? You people must be mad. Get out of here. Watch out for the headlines as they humanize Tyler Robinson as this 22-year-old university student born and raised in Utah in a very white American conservative Christian Republican MAGA-loving family. And poof. No more outrage. But they will still find ways to blame us for a white man's deed.
Who is the killer of Charlie Kirk? Is he black? Is he brown? Is he a Muslim? No. My name is Lick. In today's video, we are going to talk about the killer of Charlie Kirk. Because MAGA starting bring black people for doing this. However, the truth is He killed by his own white man. We got a more video like this. Remember that credit goes to the owner of the video. I will come back with a comment. Please subscribe.
I find this all suspicious. I got to be honest with you. I just finished watching the press conference in which they announced that the killer, the assassin of Charlie Kirk, is a 22-year-old white male from Utah named Tyler Robinson. He's a college student. Now, some things, I mean, up until this press conference, it's just all been suspicious. I mean, they've put out so much misinformation, and here I'm talking about law enforcement. The FBI, it's been a clown show. And that's not surprising that it's a clown show because, you know, Trump and Kash Patel got rid of all the serious people. Yeah, they fired them all. They fired all the career professionals and replaced them with, you know, Trump loyalists and unqualified, you know, MAGAs. So that's who's running the investigation, at least on the FBI side of things. As to the Utah law enforcement, I don't know anything about them, but, you know, Utah, bunch of Trump humpers out there. Anyway, so much of what they said in this press conference, it didn't feel to me like they were giving us information. I know some of these people say, oh, I'm surprised at how much specific information they gave us. Yeah, they gave us some specific information, which in itself, to me, is highly suspicious. But they really didn't say very much at all. They told us how the father turned him in because this kid had implied that he was responsible or directly said he was responsible. They didn't give specifics about that. They didn't give specifics about what was said there. But the first thing they did, the governor of Utah walks out and says, we got him. And then all of the people who spoke, most of the press conference was just them patting themselves on the back. That's what most of it was. Most of it was not providing us any information. It was just to pat themselves on the back. You know, Kash Patel going on and on and on about, you know, this is what a real law enforcement operation looks like, or some shit like that. Just saying how wonderful they are. This is just them patting themselves on the back. They are not the ones who solved this. They didn't find this guy. They begin by telling him the father turned him in. So I don't know what all this backslapping is about. Sounds like they didn't do shit. It sounds like if the father hadn't turned this kid in, they still would have no clue who did it. And yet they're going to stand up there and praise themselves? It was just self-serving. So that's one observation. The only specifics we really got was an implication as to motive, because the governor was specifically asked, what do you think the motive is? And he kind of dodged that question. Oh, I'm not going to really say, but, you know, you can read into what we've told you here what you want. The only thing they really told us is that this guy, this kid, 22 years old.
That's all right.
College student, he's a kid. Yeah, he's an adult. I'm not minimizing that, but, you know, young kid, whatever. He talked about how he hated Charlie Kirk, apparently. Didn't explain why, just he hates Charlie Kirk. Seems to me, you know, they could have gotten a lot more specifics as to that. They didn't. They didn't provide anything. Now, the specifics to which some of these media people are saying, wow, this is really specific information, was they said that there was engraving on the shell casings. You know, we got some information, some reporting about this yesterday from the Wall Street Journal, which they then later retracted, that there was engraving on the casings found on the ammunition that was still inside the rifle. And it was anti-trans, anti-transgender is what they said, and anti-fascist ideology. Didn't explain what the hell that was. Then later on, there was reporting, no, that's not true. It was, there were markings on the casings that were, you know, manufacturer markings that were misinterpreted or something like that. Well, then now they come out and say, oh yeah, no, there really was messages carved onto the shell casings. To me, that's just very suspicious. Not saying it's not true. Maybe it is. Just seems kind of suspicious. And what they said was on there was, they said that it was engraved in there. It said, catch fascist. Meaning, you know, this bullet's coming at you, catch fascist. And there was some other stuff on there, some internet meme kind of crap. I didn't know what it meant.
22 years old kid, you know, the one who shot Charlie, you know, you cannot find the motive that made him to do that, because now there is too much speculation about what he did. But what you have to say that most of the people were saying that this guy was spreading hate, talking about Palestine, talking about black community. But we are surprised how he shot by white man. We still have another one. Let's watch them. I come back with a comment.
He's not black. Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, he's not black. He's not trans. He's not Muslim. He's not an immigrant. He is not a Democrat. Meet Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson. He is a white, Christian, conservative, Republican male with a gun again. And statistically, when all of this was going on, when Fox News started declaring war, when Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham, which recklessly tried to rile up their base that somehow the left was in charge of this, statistically, I knew that this was probably a white male, as all shooters are. And this seems to be MAGA grown terrorism. MAGA is a culture that embraces unrestricted access to guns at all times. They want guns to have more rights than women. This is the don't tread on me crowd.
Okay.
This is the crowd that if anybody steps out of line to their dear leader, they get death threats, even within their own party. You can go no further than to ask Mitt Romney or John McCain before he died of a brain tumor. This is what happens to anybody who steps out of line with the cult leader. But Fox News and these right-wing influencers would have you believe that people like us that want people to have health care, that want a safe place for Charlie Kirk to have gone and done his job. I wanted Charlie Kirk to be able to go do what he wanted to do. Even though I disagree with all of the hateful shit that he says, the world that I want to live in is a place where Charlie Kirk is not shot. And so what they've done, what Fox News and all of these right-wing influencers putting targets on so many liberals' backs, they've started a whole website about Charlie's murderers and listing people online and doxing them. And this is a homegrown problem.
I disagree with hateful speech, but what's happened to him, it's horrible. It's really crazy to find out he was shot by a Republican. Really? Why? I think this guy realized that what he was saying, spraying to the people, was not good, also was not right. So I hope you liked today's video. Thank you for watching. Share your comment. See you on another one. I love you guys.